Do you know what the third most dangerous animal in the world is? I mean, we know number 1 is mosquito, number 2 is humans. But what is the third most dangerous animal in the world? What do you think?
Take a guess. Take a guess. Take a guess. Take a guess. Snail?
Snail is an interesting guess. Freshwater snails, because they can carry the schistosomiasis parasite, are in the list of like the top 25, I believe. No, number 3, snakes. Snakes. So I guess good reason to have a snake phobia, right? Because it's reasonable, right? Guess what we're talking about?
Oh!
What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? Stars?
Well, kind of connects in a way. We're talking about infinity. Learning stuff.
Risky.
Now, infinity. How big is infinity?
Well, it is infinity, so it's like a number, except that it just keeps on going on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Well, I mean, infinity is something that we can see in mathematics. So with mathematics, we can get a sense of infinity. How is infinity present in math?
Well, it's a type of number, but not really. It's just a number that just keeps on going on.
Well, there are certain numbers within mathematics that keep repeating. Like pi. Do you know what pi is? You don't know pi? Well, it's the way of determining the area of a circle. Okay, and it's a number that keeps repeating for infinity. So how big is infinity? Is it bigger than the universe?
Or is it just as small as an atom?
Well, that's a funny thing about infinity, isn't it? Okay, is infinity something that goes outward or something that goes inward?
It's kind of both.
Could be either.
It could be both.
Or it could be either. How?
Well, first of all, space, It just keeps on going out and out and out and out and out.
But there is an end to the universe, isn't there?
Yeah. So, does space end?
Theoretically.
It might.
Theoretically. Do you know what that means? It means in theory, in the way we think about it. But we can't actually test it or see it. So we just think about it. We think that it must end because it started at a certain point, and we suspect that it's expanding at a certain rate, and that there is theoretically an edge to the known universe. The question is, what's outside of the known universe? We go to the edge of the universe. What happens there? What do we see?
I don't know. We might see light or something.
Where is it coming from?
Well, we probably won't.
God?
Oh my God.
Maybe.
You think God's outside the universe?
Oh, what do you think it?
Do I think it? No.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think that, there could be another universe. What do you think of that?
That is kind of theoretical. Because you see, there's different types of Milky Ways and different types of planets. Same with also different types of stars.
There could be a whole different kind of a universe based on different laws of physics.
There might be even another one inside of another one.
Now we're getting some good infinity. That's it, boy.
Or it just keeps on going on and on and on and on.
Well, yes.
Admit it.
Yes, in fact, it's probably a crazy idea to even think or conceive of it because our minds can't even conceive of what the infinite might look like. How about infinity of smallness? How can things become infinitely small? Well, it's like a number. You can divide a number infinitely, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because there's always going to be something smaller. Because the numbers repeat small-wise in the same way as they do big-wise, right?
Like 1. There's always going to be something smaller than 1.
Yeah, well, you divide it in half and you've got a half. You divide that in half and you have a quarter. You divide a quarter in half and you got an eighth. You divide an eighth in half and you got 1/16. You got 1/16 and a half and you're dividing 1/3 and 1/23. 32nd. Ah! So, I mean, this could theoretically just go on forever, couldn't it? And what if we find something inside the things that make up an atom? You know, like something inside the muons and gluons and these very small things that make up the components of an atom. What, in fact, if there is a universe in there?
Or maybe.
What?
Or maybe even time itself. You see, time is also kind of infinite.
Ah, yeah.
It always just repeats. Just keeps on going and going and going. Never stops.
Although theoretically there was a starting point of time, the point of the Big Bang. And so the universe is 6 billion something years old. Yeah.
And it's kept on going.
It's kept on going. Now this brings us to another idea of infinity, time-related infinity, immortality. And what's that?
What's that? Immortality.
Living forever. You think you'd want to live forever?
Well, no, not really. Well, if you could still be young and you wouldn't start becoming old and you would just keep on living in your younger self, then maybe. But there might be a downside. You mean living forever is kind of a bad thing. First of all, every single one you love and your friends, they're all just going to pass away and you're just going to have to see it all. Second of all, when the sun explodes into a red giant, after it explodes, you're just going to just float around.
Yeah, like the universe will come to an end, but you're still living.
Yeah,
That's your point.
you're just going to just float around.
You just float in space.
You're just floating nowhere and endlessly. You want to talk about it?
So you'd be floating around in a giant nothingness
Yeah, you would just be floating in space. Or something.
forever.
Yeah.
That would suck. Majorly. Yeah. So infinity's pretty scary, isn't it? It can be scary when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
How long have you been doing this?
These videos?
No,
About
I mean
4
like,
years.
like this. I mean,
Not
like,
as long as infinity.
well, I mean, like, how long have you been doing this shoot?
I don't know.
Like,
Not infinitely long.
no, I'm not sure. Stop saying infinite jokes.
So what's the symbol of infinity?
The symbol of infinity is like an 8, except tilted.
That tilty 8. Why?
Because you can just keep on looping around it endlessly and endlessly.
And it'll make you loopy, won't it?
Mhm.
That infinity. Infinity can make you loopy if you keep focusing on it. I mean, it's something you can't conceive. So, I mean, there are limits to what humans can understand. And I guess we have to accept that there are certain things which are beyond the limits of our ability to understand. And infinity is one of them.